Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? John, Tyler, doing all right?
Doing great. How are you
Doing
guys?
so good.
Doing good. And joined by Brittany Weiss. Thanks for joining,
Hello.
Brittany.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Is that an Olipop you have?
Yeah. Honestly, I am really into like Zevias, but I just started drinking this and it's so good.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this might be my new drink.
We order like a couple 12 packs a month, like on auto ship. So
they're so good.
Yeah.
I
You're a
haven't
big
like
Zevia
tried
fan?
all of the flavors,
Brian?
but the strawberry vanilla is really good.
Yeah, my son likes that one the best, but I'm a big Dr. Goodwin and the root beer. So
Cool.
Well, the reason I wanted to have you on is you've had a pretty awesome year. I mean, winning the games, went the NorCal Classic. I want to start with the game season with CrossFit Invictus. Last year on the podium, you guys decided to come back to win the whole thing. You did. I've seen Josh talk on Coffee Pods and Wads about, you think about you guys have been together for 2 years, everything's going to be great, but it sounded like that's not always the case. Like, how was training this past season with the team? And, were there ups and downs and kind of how did that kind of come along throughout the season?
Yeah. So I think if we go back to 2022, going into that season, we all kind of, well, at least the girls didn't really know who was going to be on the team and who wasn't going to be on the team. It was kind of like 4 of us at one point fighting for a spot. So just leading into that season, it was kind of just a little bit different. It wasn't kind of like in our hands. We actually had to like go in, work really hard and prove ourselves to earn that spot. So I think like going into that season, we all really, like, at least between us girls, like we're really, really working hard just to prove that we belonged for a spot on that team. And then going into that season, we had a goal to podium. It was just like, not first, not second, not third. It was just like, hey, like we all have what it takes to go out there and do the thing. And we did just that. We executed the way that we needed to. And then going into this season, it was just a little bit different. We kind of, after games, all took some time off and really just like figured out what we wanted to do. Originally, like after that season, I was like, I want to go individual. Like I'm kind of like, that was my second year on team because I went back in 2021. And then I went again in 2022. And then just achieving that goal, I was like, hey, like, I think I'm ready, like just to kind of move on and, get out there by myself again. But everyone somehow came to the conclusion that we were going to run it back. We knew with Mayhem being out this past year that we definitely had a good shot at doing that. And it was just, I think that like throughout the season, we kind of all knew that we had a spot this year. So I feel like it was just a little bit, it was just a different style, I guess, like leading into this games. Like sometimes I felt like since we knew we had a spot, like it wasn't that work wasn't put in. It was just like, I feel like the drive and the wanting to be there and the wanting to like work hard and prove ourselves and this and that kind of lacked a little bit throughout the season. Which kind of showed up at semifinals, which, we went to semifinals, we definitely had some hiccups and kind of learned from those and realized that like, hey, if we want to go to games and really do what we set out to do this year, we definitely have to fix some things and all get on the same page. I just think that we were all on different pages the first few months of the season. And after semifinals, we all sat down and just kind of like got it together and, got on the same page finally. And we were able to go into Madison and like do what we knew we could and execute the way that we knew we could. So it was just a little bit, it was just different. Like the good thing is like going into this games, it's like at the end of the day, we all know each other super well. It's our second year together. So we could always like fall back on that, like just knowing, like really actually knowing each other, which really, really helped. So that's kind of like the rundown of how this season went. There was a lot of ups and downs. Let's just say that.
Well, with
I have
that
a
extra
question for you,
year,
real quick,
go ahead,
Ryan,
John.
before
Go
we
ahead.
get into the 2023. Who makes the decision to who's on the team? Like if there was this battle in 2022, like can you go dive further into that? I'm always intrigued by how, like if there's competition for the team, y'all just don't know automatically.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't know automatically. Actually, in 2022, I didn't know I was on the team until actually I did individual quarterfinals that year because I had no idea. Like, I didn't want my season just to end after the Open. So I still wanted to give myself like an opportunity to compete just in case I wasn't on the team. So they actually didn't tell us until after individual quarterfinals, which was like 2 weeks before team quarterfinals. And the coaches, like, it's a group decision between them. And I feel like Josh and Jorge definitely had some like input on that as well, just because they were for sure the guys on the team. So I think that like Josh and Jorge and the coaches kind of would all meet and just figure out like what four individuals would work the best with each other. So yeah, so like in 2022, it was definitely one of like my hardest years, like just not like the uncertainty of like my season was really challenging. But then again, that's kind of why I did individual quarterfinals, just to have a backup just in case.
Yeah. When you look at what changed from 2022 to 23, was it like the actual fitness of your team, or was it maybe just an extra year of working together and that understanding of, you know, all of the different teammates and kind of communication and roles? Like, how much would you put towards actual just getting more fit versus the team aspect of it?
I definitely think that we were all more fit going into games this year. We all like I can't like I guess I could speak for everybody. I think everybody in the off season really kind of drilled in on things that we know we needed to get better at as individuals just to make the team stronger. Like, for example, like strength has never been a big thing for me, and it's always like I feel like that's the one thing that's always holding me back. So this past off season, it's something that I really worked on. And I know that I'll never be the strongest in the field. And sometimes it's kind of like, it kind of sucks. Cause like every like little progress that I make and I feel like I'm getting stronger, it's like everybody else is also getting stronger. So it's like it's you have to like look at it like I can't like compare myself to others. Like I just have to realize like where I was at one point, and just like if I'm making steps forward within like my journey to where I want to go, then that's a plus. So I think that like we definitely all kind of worked on things that would make the team stronger. Because again, like you're only as fit as your weakest link, right? So it's like when you have four people, if like you can all be well-rounded, it just helps that much more. And then getting to like knowing each other is always helpful. Like I feel like I could like work on the worm with those four, like with my eyes closed. Like I know like how Devin moves, I know how Jorge moves, I know how Josh moves. So it's definitely a plus going into it a second year together.
Yeah, I mean, there's like talk of Noah and Chandler possibly teaming up this next year, and we've seen with Proven, even with the two women, like adding two other guys into that mix, like there's still a lot of communication things, teamwork. So I mean, it definitely is a team's competition. It's not just the sum of the four individuals. And
yeah, for sure.
It definitely shows. Throughout the games weekend, I mean, were there any challenges like from that standpoint of communication or things of that nature? Or was it, I mean, you guys were pretty much in charge throughout the whole weekend.
Yeah. I can honestly say like there's not a single event for me to look back on and be like, we should have done this differently. Like, I think that somehow, some way, like we hit every single workout and executed it the way that like perfectly, like within like our capabilities. And I think that's what ended us on the top of the podium. Like I can't look back and say like we made a single mistake, like except for that first workout. I think it was a little bit of like poor planning on like who would road climb first and who would ski erg first. Like I think that we looked at that workout and it was way harder during it than like looking at it on paper. So I think we like underestimated that workout, which was the first workout of the weekend. So I like, if I look back on the whole entire weekend, that's probably the only workout that I think that we would like change some things around. And then after that, it was just like, we executed everything like to the best of our abilities. Like there wasn't like I said, there wasn't a single workout that I look back on other than that one being like, dang, we really messed this up, or like we should have done this differently. Like it was like a great weekend across the board, which you know, like I throughout the weekend I was like, it's not over until it's over. Like just because we're ahead doesn't mean like we're gonna win this thing. But like after like the first day, like having that leader's jersey, it was just like, hey, if we can just go out there and like execute the way we know we can, like this is something that like we can gradually just like keep gaining points on other teams throughout the weekend. And that's what we did. Were
you surprised that it wasn't more of a race? Because I feel like after the first day, y'all were just in control the whole time, and none of us had told people you were going to be. We were like, Oslo Navy Blue and Proven are going to run away with it. I mean, Invictus will be there, but you know, like that's how we were all the whole time.
Yeah, no, and like that's how kind of like I went into the weekend like for myself, and I was like, you know, it's definitely going to be like, I feel like the three teams that are going to be fighting for this is Oslo Navy Blue, Proven, and then us. And like throughout the, like I look back on the weekend and we were so focused throughout the whole entire 4 days. It was like, I didn't realize until after that we actually like went out there and didn't just win. Like we absolutely like dominated. Like it was just like
the whole time.
It was just like, yeah, it was just like workout after workout after workout. It was just like it was crazy. Like I don't think it really sunk in during the weekend, just because I feel like you're just so focused on like each individual event that you're not really like adding up like over the course of the weekend. But yeah, looking back on it, it's just like I said, like I wouldn't have changed a thing. And like in the moment, I didn't think we were dominating, but it's like I look back and I'm like, holy crap, like we literally just like blew everything out of the water. So
does a little bit of you wish that Rich had come back? And as well as you guys performed, like I feel like you would have been right there with the Mayhem team from 22.
I actually think that like we would have given Mayhem this year a run for their money. Like I think like if those
Rich is good at getting out when people are getting close to him.
Yeah, like
that's something I've said forever.
Right. If they were there, like it would have been really fun. Like to really see where things would have fallen with that for sure.
Yeah. And now it's been 5-6 weeks since the games. You've already done an online qualifier. You've already gone to NorCal Classic. Like, did you take any time off from after the games?
So yeah, so after the games, I went on a family vacation for a week, so I didn't really do much fitness. My sister Allie was insisted on training that week a little bit because I know she wanted to do the Wodapalooza qualifiers, which was a good amount of time away. But I still like hopped in on some things that she was doing. So just kind of moved and did what I felt like doing for a week there, but not much like intensity at all. And then when I got back, Rogue Qualifier started in 3 days. So I hopped in, everybody was doing them. I hopped in on the Rogue Qualifiers. And after that weekend, I was absolutely destroyed. Like I had felt like I just competed at the games again. Like I actually think I felt worse than the games, like after Rogue.
How does a gym like Invictus do the Rogue Qualifier with all of the standards and all of the measurements, video? Like,
I will say,
how is that? How are you guys all doing? Because you had what, 6-7 people doing?
Yeah, there was quite a few. There was quite a few people doing it, and like with Rogue standards, it definitely makes it challenging. Like the fact that you have to weigh everything and like measure everything, which I get, but it's like, gosh, it's a lot. Like you can only put like 2 to 3 people at a time, you know, especially if like with weight scales, like we only have a certain amount of weight scales to weigh everything out, like a certain amount of people, like coaches helping. So it was definitely like a lot over the course of the weekend, but thankful like for Holden just like being around all weekend, just like helping with that, because it definitely wouldn't have been possible without him. And then yeah, so that was Rogue. Was completely destroyed after that. So I took a few days off, and then I realized like I had asked about NorCal like like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this would be fun, like because I want like I'm gonna go individual next year, like that's my goal. And I was like, this would be fun just to kind of get my feet wet and just like get back out on the floor as an individual. And they originally had said they didn't have a spot, so I was like, oh dang, that sucks. But after Rogue, they DM'd me on Instagram, and they're like, hey, someone just dropped out. Like, you have a spot if you want it. And I was like, I'm in. So took that week off after Rogue, trained Monday and Tuesday, like full training days, left for NorCal on Thursday, and then competed last weekend. So I definitely felt like I was banking on some residual fitness throughout the weekend. But I also feel like at 3, 2, 1, go, when you're a competitor, it's just kind of like, it turns on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you didn't just go, you ended up winning. Like,
yeah.
There's more than that. Like,
is that your biggest individual payday?
Yeah, for sure. Actually Hiller was there throughout the weekend, and he like asked, he was like, what's the closest like check that you've gotten on the individual side for like winning something? And I'm like, I look back and I'm like, I've never actually like podiumed anywhere as an individual. So so aside from that, I haven't actually even won any money. So right. it was actually really cool. Like it was definitely like, it was such a fun experience, and I somehow pulled it off. And yeah, it was definitely a big, nice payday for sure.
How was it getting back on the individual side and competing in an in-person competition individually after doing teams for so many years?
So I went to regionals back in 2015 and 2016 as an individual. And honestly, like individual has always had my heart. Like I've dreamed about going to the CrossFit Games as an individual one day. And when I went team, it was just to gain that experience, to be actually go and like, you know, just overall gain experience. So just being back there, out there, it was definitely different. You don't have 3 other people to rely on or to be there. It's like you're out there and you have your cheer squad and you have your people that support you, but they're on the opposite side of the of the fence watching, yeah. Right? So it's really just you. And throughout the whole weekend, it was like I really just kept saying to myself, like at the end of this, like it's me versus me. And if I can gain experience and, you know, figure out what I need to work on going into this next season, then I'm going to come away better. And whether that's finishing first, whether that's finishing 10th, and I can use, you know, what I learned over the weekend just for the remaining 6 to 8 months, like leading into next year. So overall, it was like I look back and I'm like, dang, I can't believe I won. But the workouts were really good for me as well. And yeah, I just kind of stayed in my lane, focused on what I could do. And it ended with me on the top of the podium. So I somehow, like, I have a streak going, I guess, you know, from games to this. So I'm just going to roll with it.
Exactly. That's good. Good confidence boost going into training, which
yeah.
So what you just got back from training to jump onto this show. So what you said you're going to go individual next year. Like, so what does training look like between now and the open?
Gosh, well, I need to get stronger. That's always the thing. So definitely just going to focus on building my strength and, you know, building muscle mass. And I'm tired of like lifting, or I'm tired of like heavyweight workouts and like 1 rep max lifting events pushing me out from things. So I'm really fired up just to like really focus on that this off season. Again, it showed in Rogue. Like I had like 3 great finishes. And then if you look at like the overhead squat and the snatch workout, I was like 30th, and it's like, if I can just get those to like middle of the pack, like it doesn't need to be like, I don't need to win. Like I don't need to be the strongest in the field, but if I can get myself somewhere to where I'm like, hey, like I can go here and not like bomb this.
Right.
I think I'm setting myself up for definitely for success on the individual side. So that's definitely my main focus this off season for sure.
Who are you working with for training this season?
So I have some decisions to make on where and what I'm going to do this next season. I haven't quite announced that yet or kind of figured out. But I will eventually let everyone know kind of what my plans are. Just a lot of different options here. So over the next month or two, just feeling out some different things and going to kind of make a decision on what I feel is best for myself going into 2024.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for, are you going to go to Wodapalooza or any other competitions between now and the Open?
I'm going to do Dubai. I was invited to, like the whole entire team was invited to Dubai, I think, because we took first at games. They kind of just wanted to see us get on the individual side. So that was really cool. I competed back in Dubai in 2016. So as an individual, so I'm super excited to go back. So that's going to be like the main off-season comp of the year. I'm not going to do Wodapalooza. I really told myself I wasn't going to do any off-season competitions because I really just need to focus on getting stronger. But when Dubai like came around and like I opened my email one morning and had an invite, I was like, I can't turn this down. Like I'm just going to go and have some fun. So that's kind of, that's the only planned like off-season competition.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
John, Tyler, anything else for Brittany?
No, 25K is pretty good for a whim.
Yeah.
It's not a bad day.
I
sure.
get Happy Gilmore vibes.
Yeah.
Like, man, I should just keep winning. Like this is awesome. I don't know why I didn't start this before.
I can just see her with a car full of those
I
giant
want
checks.
one of those big checks over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, good work. It's cool to see. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you
excited
so
to
much.
see what you got for individual next year. I don't know where to place you, so I hope you do something so I know where to place you.
Thank you.
Yeah, go win Dubai, and then maybe John will get you in that top 25.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Brittany.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brittany,
awesome.
for taking time out of your day, and good luck with the rest of the off season, and good luck at Dubai.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks,
Have a good
Brittany.
one.
Bye.
All right. Good deal.
She's a good spirit.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a heck of good 45 days. I mean, your first competition, you drop and win 45,000 or 25,000. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to make my camera better.
He said 360p for sure.
And I don't know what it is, man. It's the computer camera.
It's in the settings, John. If you go to settings, you can
Is
change
it
it to
really?
720. Yeah.
Okay,
Make it a
I'll
little
try
bit
to
better.
figure this out while y'all are talking.
All right. Well, while John figures out his camera so he doesn't look like he's filming on a potato, I want to thank Vindicate for sponsoring the show. Go to vindicate.com, use code SPIN, save 15%. And for those of you who ordered the Barbell Spin shirts during the pre-order, Travis is working on them. So those will be coming your way very shortly. Before we get into the Madrid and NorCal recap, I got a little bit something here, a little something. I haven't opened it yet, but it came from Nick, Wad Zombie.
Oh, did you
yeah?
see my post? Did you see my post yesterday?
I've not seen it. No. Little mint
mint
card.
That's just a teaser.
It is a teaser. Wad Zombie. Ooh. Wad Zombie sticker. Oh. And the new James Sprague card. And Alex Kazan.
Oh, you got Kazan too? Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And
Then I bet you have Ariel Lowen.
Ariel Lowen.
Nice.
There it is. So are those on sale right now?
Yeah,
Tyler?
all of them are on sale. Go buy them.
Very cool. Those are my first 3 cards. So
Really?
yeah.
That's great.
I was not the one that spent $100+ on the Colton Merton card, but
Man, you should have. I don't know.
I
I don't think Nick even has any left. So it's kind of cool to see him.
That's
like,
all you can do.
yeah. And I
Right?
love that about it. It's like, and all of these ones that we're coming out with now are all limited edition. So they should like all have that sort of thing, going on in the future. So it's cool to see. A little backstory. So you can see back here behind me.
Yeah.
This was the card that I wanted. So I ordered these last week or 2 weeks ago. So the one that exists now is black.
Yeah.
Mostly black. And I like that card. But like in the process of making these, I fall in love with certain versions. And rarely do the athletes actually pick the ones that I want. And so I was like, well, hell with them. I'm gonna make big versions of the ones that they don't want. So anyway, that's what's going on back here. Alex actually went with the one that I loved. So
it's CrossFit Pokemon.
Yeah.
Actually, my son was like, that'd be pretty cool if they had stats on there and you can do. I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but yeah. He doesn't even really know, but he thought it would be funny to have the ability to like compete or do something with those cards.
Actually, that's why I started putting so on the spray card, Gazan and I think a few of the others. Like Gazan for sure. She has like her clean max, her back squat max, her deadlift max, her bench, her 1 mile run.
It's all their best things. So like, if they like their best accomplishments that they have, like this is what they're the best at for them. It's all like Alex Gazan's not going to have a snatch on the back of her card.
No,
because
and I'm okay with that.
Just trash at snatch. Get it together.
Or just to open this up for discussion, would you rather it be like a set number of things, like?
I like it that way because you see like the best of the best. For instance, Sprague's 606 2K row is on there. Like then everybody knows, okay, so the best rower in all of CrossFit is around 606 2K. I know Roman might have James, but James is one of.
Yeah,
I put
if you're
top
gonna,
three, him, Hopper, and Roman, right? And like
Roman wanted to get paid to do the 2K when that happened. I said, what can you beat 6 minutes? He goes, how much do you have?
But Alex, everybody sees Alex's bench. You know what I mean? Like nobody else is close to that. So you see what the best of the best has on their best things. It'd be funny if they had a Matt Fraser card. I feel like they wouldn't have enough space in the card.
It's much better.
I like that too. I like them having their best things. I think it's pretty cool. I almost thought we should make like some analyst cards and only put our worst things. I think that'd be pretty funny. Like Hiller's max handstand push-ups or Brian Friend's bench press because it's pretty rough. My 5K run time, like just these like worst like the worst things, and that's what the analysts get. But no, I think it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, a lot of the inspiration for like I kind of put myself in the shoes of a teenager, somebody who usually buys sports cards, and think like, what would I want to see? And it's like if I'm gearing myself up to like, hey, I want to be a competitive athlete. Like in 2018, such as this person hit this, or Alex Gazan hit a 270 bench. It's like, okay, mine's 200 pounds. It's like, oh, okay, I start working for that. You know what?
If you are a female, I would not start working. For bench press. That's a bad example. You're not going to get there. Hate to break it to you. If you're doing CrossFit, power lifter, sure.
But
CrossFitter, you're not going to get there. You're just
like
not,
20.
You're not going to.
20 unbroken ring muscle ups. That's achievable, and it's like
it is great. That's a great one to pick out. Yeah. Okay. So if an elite woman CrossFit Games athlete, 20 ring muscle ups. If you can get to that, then guess what? You're really good at ring muscle ups. You don't have to you're elite at ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's fun making them.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nick. Go get your trading cards that I was sent. Christine Colenbrander's a new one, so go get that one.
She hasn't been announced yet, but I guess we're gonna announce it now.
It's right behind you. Isn't it behind you?
Shh. So that is not the real version. That's not the final version. That's my favorite version. But anyway,
Tyler, your setup is legit.
it's getting better. I need the whole wall to be.
Yeah, no, I mean it looks pretty darn awesome.
Are those one of a kind giant cards?
Yes. The only other one that exists, I think we should sell them, or I think Nick should sell them. I don't do anything. I just ordered them for myself. But I have the art in my computer, so I was just like, Nick, I'm gonna order these. He's like, okay. But the only other one that exists, Will has it, and it is I think it is Danielle Brandon. He has a metal plate of Danielle Brandon. So yeah, but these are the only 3 that exist.
Very cool. So yeah, we talked a little bit about NorCal with Brittany, but Madrid championships were this weekend and NorCal. For Madrid, Lazar Jukic and Karen Freyova won the title. Tyler, your boy Travis.
Yep. Got third, technically.
He got third. I do want to talk about that one here for a second. So
I have no idea where this is going right now.
Did you guys watch much of it? Did you guys watch much of?
I didn't watch all of it, but I watched some of it. I would say half of it.
So for those who didn't, there was a 1 rep max clean and jerk, and there was 3 rounds, and you had a minute and a half to do 50 of the jump bar double unders, and then the remaining of that minute and a half, you had to do a 1 rep max clean and jerk. And the tiebreaker was your second best lift. And if you watched Pedro with Coffee and Pods on one of his vlogs from the weekend, Lazar and Luca had a plan that Luca was going to try to match Lazar to help him on a tie break potentially. And Pedro also interviewed Travis during this. And what you'll see here is that Travis took, 6th place with 154 kilograms. And you see the top 5 all hit 155.
155, yeah.
That was, even if he didn't get Lazar because he didn't do 152 on the second lift, he would have gotten 94 points instead of 76. And so that 18-point difference cost him second place. 2.2 pounds.
And those kind of mental mistakes will keep you out of the top 5 in the CrossFit games.
It's a bogus way to score an event. It's bull crap.
You're right. If somebody does more weight than the other person, it should.
Who cares?
Count.
They jerk. Who cares? They both did the heaviest. JR and I talk about this all the time. John, if you and I are both carrying wood, my dad says, "Hey boys, let's go out here, and I want you to get all that wood and get it to the house." He doesn't care who got half of it fastest. He just cares that the wood's at the house at the end and how much wood's at the house. They both got the same amount of wood at the house.
What are you arguing?
I mean, Travis,
155 is not the same as 154.
No, right. I'm just arguing that the last weight is what matters. I don't give a shit what you had to jerk to get there. It's the heaviest weight is what matters to me. I think this is a dumb way to score it.
Are you just talking about the tiebreaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm talking about Travis's mental mistake.
Yeah. 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram difference.
1 kilogram. Yeah, it's like that's a small thing to me.
Because
that's stupid though. For that to cost you second place, that shouldn't happen. Right?
Yeah.
Karen Freyova made this mistake at the games during the lifting event. It's a very avoidable thing. And it shouldn't happen. And it's like you are dumb for letting it happen, is what I'm saying. You disagree?
I don't think he's dumb, but it is it's like At the end
Now,
of it,
if Ricky made this mistake, you would say, "Well, Ricky's just number than a box of rocks. That's why he can't. That's why
I'm
that
not saying
happened."
that. I'm not saying that. You're saying it. I mean, it's like he was definitely like, that was stupid. Like, I just screwed that up. But he hasn't competed in a while, and it's like, you're kicking off the rust. It's okay. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your 5K pace is like 10 seconds slower than it normally is. That's not competing for a while. That's just knowing what other people are doing, looking around, and then you need to put on the same amount or more.
Yeah. I mean, because Luca talked about it. Like that was a PR for him to hit 155, but he was like, it's 1 extra kilogram. Like, I need to help my brother. I'm just going to go for it. And he hit it. Like, at that point, if you look around and you see somebody else has 155, I'm pretty sure he had a coach there with him. Like, you see 155, you do 155. Like, everybody around you is doing 155. Like, that's a huge mistake. Like, and I get you wouldn't get the full 100, but if you saw everybody hit 150, you're pretty sure that 155 is the next in line.
And I mean, honestly, if you're Travis, you put
That's
on
his good lift.
156.
Right. He's a good
I'm not even saying you do 155 because you 155. You see 5 155s and,
Put on 156.
they're all the people ahead of you or the people that are like, around you. And you know that you're good at this thing. Like, right? This is one of his better things, right? And put on 156. That's 100 points. That's 24 points. Is that enough for him to win, Brian?
He would not have won. He needed what was it? How do I get total? So he was out by 30 points. So he would have been really close.
Okay, so it would have been close enough where you could try to make moves in the last event. I'm just saying, like, that's inexcusable to happen, in my opinion, because it's not a fitness thing. That's literally you just not caring to be aware of your surroundings. Like, it just, I hate it when those things happen. I hate it because it's so easy to fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Rebecca Wood, Travis mentioned having trouble with the weight
That's
conversion.
what a coach is for, Rebecca. It's not that hard. It's 2.2.
Well, see, that's the problem, because if you notice, he had McGoldrick with him, Mike McGoldrick, and he's from Memphis. There's no way he can count in kilos. I'm just kidding.
Well, it doesn't like then you tell your judge, hey, what's 155?
Well, I mean, I was at Wodapalooza when nobody knew the conversion to pounds, right? Like, Guy was out there struggling. A few of them were out there like, how much is this weight? And the judge was like, I have no freaking idea in kilograms. So, like, I get that part of it, especially on the competition floor. But if I'm McGoldrick, I have a cheat sheet.
Yes.
That says,
so look, I would just
here's
have
the
it in
most
tens, right? 150 is 330, 160 is 352. Guess what? 155 is probably around 340. I don't know. It's probably around there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it doesn't, like, if you have your thing in tens, right? 140 is 308, 150 is 330, 160 is 352. It's not hard to know those things. And like you said, you could have a cheat sheet of those things. I don't see any 160s, Travis. I know you can clean and jerk 352, right? You've done it a million times. I don't see any 160s. Let's just go 156. That's probably what, 345? You know what I mean? Like, that's not hard to do, Tyler. Like, that's what I'm saying. This costs you thousands of dollars because you're not smart enough to freaking do math.
You're popping the mic. You're bleeping your own self out. Oh my God.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. It is a goofy, silly mistake, especially because, like, Travis had the capacity to win this entire event.
Well, and I saw it on, I think when I saw that happen, I think I made a comment maybe to the group chat or to somebody, and I was like, this could really be, like, let's look back, and if he's anything is 18 points around, like, he can look back and say, that's it. And it's 1 kilogram. And, like, we're talking about 2 pounds. Now, I think I already know the answer, but if you Z-score this, where does Travis end up?
So he would have been 4 4 points back on that event had we scored that event in Z score. I did drop the second lift because I think tiebreakers are bullshit.
Just make up your
so
own
you
rules.
made this convenient for you.
No, I always do that. That across the board, if you have some stupid tiebreak like on the sandbag event, I'm not doing that.
Who deems that the tiebreak is stupid?
Me, because they are dumb. Let's clean light sandbags to use it to talk about how we can clean heavy sandbags. It makes no freaking sense. Anyway, it flips. The podium flips. So Yonakoski stays at second. Travis goes to first, and Lazar goes to third. And Lazar is pretty far in third. Travis, you can argue that Yona. What I use it to say is that Yona and Travis are pretty comparably fit. There's 3 points between them, 604 versus 601. Lazar is 583, so a pretty good gap between them fitness wise. So
Hike Malpin.
Oh man,
blah blah blah.
Oh, I have no idea how hard this hits. Hike.
I love McLovin.
I sincerely hope it's actually Mike, and he just uses to make comments.
Just
to make you mad. That would be so great.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so the podium flips. Last week you were asking us, what do we use these events to talk about? Like, how do we use them to judge athletes and stuff like that? And it's like, it's kind of funny because it's like, where did Yona get into games this year?
Probably like 10th or 11th, around
6th.
Yeah.
6th.
Here's the best European.
If you're one better than 6, what does that equal, John? 5th.
Okay, Tyler.
Top 5, baby. Top 5, baby.
Where was Lazar?
He was 9th, I think, something like that.
He's 2 better than Lazar, and your rigmarole way of scoring the
rigmarole. I'm just saying he has capacity. Now, one thing I will side. Hold on.
Go ahead.
One thing I will side with you on is they don't score in Z score, so it doesn't really matter what your performance is. If you make these mistakes in the games, there goes your places. And technically, that's what's gotten Travis in the past, is he makes goofy mistakes like this. He either comes out too hot, he comes out too slow, he kind of goofs up on events. He has the capacity, is what this shows me. But it doesn't matter when it comes to execution and performance, when you're using performance scoring. So anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Outdoors 24/7. Vindicate can make a t-shirt with the conversions on it.
I have 2 things. I am all for feeding into the hype train of Travis Mayer, feeding into your delusion. I'm all for it. I want you.
You can't say you're for it and then say it's a delusion.
No, listen to me. I'm all for you feeding into your delusion. I want you to believe it with your heart.
Yeah.
That Travis Mayer is going to, not just you saying it and hoping it happens, but I want you to believe that it can happen. I'm with you. I want to feed into this as much as possible. But I'm not going to agree if you have to tweak the numbers in your special way and score it this way for him to look like he's going, like he could have won. You know what I mean?
It was only the 7th iteration of figuring out how the score works.
Yeah, I wanted him to win Madrid. So it's legitimately, oh, you're right. He beat Yona. Yona was 6th. It doesn't matter that there's no swimming event, and had there been swimming, Yona's ahead of everybody on Z score by a lot. Which is always going to be in the games, which is the only reason he's 6th place. If there's no swimming event, Yona's 10th, because that's 100 points back that he doesn't get.
There wasn't a swimming event.
No, at the games.
There wasn't a swimming event at the games. This year.
Ooh, you're right.
Got him. Somebody mark that one down.
I always assume there's one swimming event.
It's fair.
That's very true. You got me there. Yeah. I'm completely wrong what I'm trying to say. I want Travis to win Madrid though, so it feeds into this delusion. If he gets 3rd, he can't even beat Lazar and Yona, who can't beat the top 5 people. Right. And it's not about beating Yona. It's about beating 5th place. Who was 5th place?
That would be our boy
Dallin.
Dallin.
Dallin. It's about beating Dallin. And Ricky's not even there. You got to throw Ricky in there, and then it's about beating. So really, it's about beating 4th place. Who was 4th?
7th. He's got to beat 7th.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brent, he could beat Fikowski.
Oh, well, I mean, Fikowski can't even make the games, according
That's
to you,
right.
Brian.
That's
You're
right.
Depending on the games.
He's done.
Yeah.
Well, he had his good year, so
don't-
next year it's not going to be so hot for Brent.
Right.
That's fair. You're
I
absolutely right.
get
Hopper,
what you're
it could be
saying.
Hopper, though. Brent and Hopper go back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, John. You want to see it more outright, and it is a little bit unfair for me to cut the pie a little differently than other people cut it. The only thing I'm doing here is to say, what is your body capable of if we're scoring things based on your abilities? Now, the problem with me as an analyst is I'm always willing to play devil's advocate, even against myself. So it's like I don't take these hard stances. You're not wrong, because he has to perform right. It doesn't matter. They don't score my way, so you have to be better at execution. And so I don't disagree with you. I do believe that he's going to ring it together this year. I feel like it's his last year, and he's like, I'm going to really get things right this year. So I don't disagree with you, John.
On the women's side,
Man, I can't believe Yona did that good without a swimming event. That's got to be the best he's ever done.
He said he was the most fit at semifinals. Like, he felt like he was more fit than he'd ever been. He kind of showed it too.
Good for you, Yona.
On the women's side, Karen Freyova in first, Annika Greer in second, and Emily Lundberg.
Did you see the private
in
chat,
third.
Tyler? Okay. Sorry, Brian.
No, you're good. You're good. Annika Greer, impressive performance. Is that one that you look at and say,
You want to go first, Tyler?
it's what she needs to do? Like, maybe she's starting to put it together.
Yeah. How did Karen Freyova do was she even at the games this year?
Yeah.
She was 14th.
14th.
Yeah, 14th.
Yeah. To me, that is exactly so you asked us behind the scenes, you asked us to pick somebody who overperformed and underperformed. I can't determine if this is an overperformance or just what we expect from Annika Greer. I'm kind of leaning towards she overperformed because I do see her as a squeak in, like a 5th or 6th at semifinals going into the games. And this is a pretty commanding performance. Now, I will say the difference between her and Karen Freyova, if you Z-score it, is quite substantial. And so,
I mean, just the leaderboard itself, there's a huge discrepancy there.
And so, I mean, maybe if I say that, it's back to just a normal performance. But I'm happy to see her at second. This is good. This is good for her.
Yeah. Further down the leaderboard, you got Thuri Helgadottir, Jacqueline Dahlstrom down in 6th and 7th. I know we talked about last time, like, is it that? Can't really read into it, but I feel like we need to see them up on the podium with this type of field if they're going to be back at the games. Right? Like, Karen came off the games, the others did not. And Karen just, crushed everybody. So, yeah, I feel like you need to see better performances out of them going forward. John, do you agree with that?
Better performances from Annika?
From Thuri and Jacqueline, right? Like, they both were on the outside looking in this year.
Yeah,
like,
it means nothing to me. They were on the outside looking in. That's where I'll have them as of right now. That's where I'll have them in my, like, when I think about who's going to make semifinals, or who's going to make the games. They'll make semifinals, but who's going to make the games? I just don't think you can take anything from this. It would need to be a dominating performance from anybody for me to take anything from it. And since it was a dominating performance from the best one there, it means nothing from her, right? Karen Frey should dominate this. Annika Greer can't even make the games, and she was 2nd place. Karen Freyova is supposed to be the 14th fittest woman in the world. She should dominate, right? And then Annika, you're like, man, she did really good in this competition. But who did she beat? That's what I'm saying. It's not like I don't take anything from these competitions because nobody beats anybody significant. Like if you get 5th or 3rd and like that's a really good placing. 2nd, it's an amazing placing. Who did she beat? That has made the games. Made the games last year.
Thury. Yeah.
Made the games last
Jacqueline
year.
Dahlstrom.
Yeah, it was
Last
not
year.
this year. Yeah.
23 years.
Yeah, last
Like,
year
who
saying
did
last
she
year.
beat?
No,
Jacqueline and Thury could be on the way down for all we know. Right? It kind of looks like it. I'm not saying they are, but it kind of looks like it.
Jacqueline, I would be really, I mean, like maybe Dahlstrom's weird because she didn't go to the game. So she's she should be in a better shape than everybody else. It's like she never went and did that to her body. Right. So she shouldn't have had to recover. She should be deeper into training than everybody. And she got 7th, and it gets worse when you Z-score. She got 12th when you Z-score. So it's like, it's looking bad for Dahlstrom. And it's like, I'm a Dahlstrom fan actually. But it's not looking good. And so you asked for an underperformance, and like Dahlstrom's one of them. Thury, I think it's a good performance for Thury. I think she's just on her way out. I hate to say that.
She's been in it for a long time.
Yeah, she's been here a long time. I love watching her compete, but I think she's on her way out.
Yeah. One of the things that both Madrid and NorCal had was a distance run. So Madrid had a 5K. It was supposed to be with a plate carrier. That got held up in customs, so it ended up being a true 5K. And I posted about it over the weekend. Like after Dave went on last Monday's show, doubling down on the distance at the games, we had another data point on a 5K. And what I thought was interesting was that the distance between what Jankowski's Strava data said at the games versus Madrid was 14% longer, 14% more distance. And
I guess how many yards that is? 500 yards is my guess.
Very, very, very close. Yes. And the Lazar, Karen Friova, and Jan were between 15 and 20% slower. So, like, I brought it up not because I want to keep beating a dead horse, but like this was pretty darn close. And Madrid was hillier. Like that would indicate that it's probably a tougher, you're going to be a little bit slower, but I'm never going to believe anybody that shows a wheel that from the games that was calibrated or they didn't use yards. And then you look at Northern California Classic, NorCal Classic, they had an 800-meter run, which first of all looks very sketch. They're running on the sidewalk. But
as one does.
Everybody set a world record. and I'm not joking. Like you go over to the workouts and where is it? Why don't I give it had
it'd be like 2 minutes something.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to see why I can't get to it. Let me.
It'd be 1 minute, right?
Yeah, the time was insane, and I don't know what the. Oh, here we go. So the 800-meter dash. For the women, winner was 145. For the men,
we should have asked Brittany about her.
It was like 130. Yeah.
Yeah, her
it was
world
like 130
record.
For the men. I remember asking Jeanette because Jeanette was a runner in school. I was like, "Is this like real?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "There is no way."
No,
That's
134. And so, I'm struggling with like we've always done events that are similar, right? But they're never exact. But does it hurt the CrossFit reputation of a competition, when you start saying things are 800 meters or a 5K, and then you're not measuring it properly.
I mean, Carolyn Prevo is in the comments. She said it was supposed to be 800, but the venue wouldn't allow it, so they just shortened it. And then did not make an announcement to everybody that it was shortened. It just still says, I mean, and that would be hard to change it to 600 meters everywhere. But yeah, so
that's why.
Yeah.
In the past, I've been at CrossFit gyms and they'll do like a mile run or something, and you'll see some times and you're like, that person did not run a 5:30 mile. And so you're like, just say like 5 mile-ish, 800-ish. Like that way it's true unto itself, but it's like, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
Basically add 45 seconds to this time.
Yeah. My point is that
I believe that. I mean, that's still
100%.
crazy, but
my point is like the games, just call it a cross country run, right? Unless you're going to do it and do it legit.
Call it a 4.5K run.
Well, then it needs to be 4.5K. Like,
yeah,
whatever it is, but like
what they did.
But if you're on the, like, a lot of people outside in the hybrid space, OCR space saw this 5K run at the games and are like, come on, like you guys are making a joke of this. Like, you're trying to make yourselves look fitter than you really are. I don't think that, obviously, if this was the venue changed at the last second, but like, why don't you just say like, a sprint or something that's, doesn't tie it down to being exact, because like that creates a lot of issues. Right. And so I just feel like it needs to be, if you're going to put a distance in, say it. Right. Because if you had something that's like 30 clean and jerks at 135 as your event title, and then you put 115 on the bar, we'd all say, what are you doing? Right. But because it's distance, everybody says, well, they're just lifting the same amount of weight, or, they're all running the same distance. It doesn't matter. Right. But I think it does, in my opinion.
It does when you're televising the sport. That's for sure.
Right.
And it's not something that should be that hard
to broadcast
measure
it to everywhere, like a worldwide 4.5K, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, they like really built it up.
Right. And how many people in the community did the 5K and now have a time
now have a 4.5K time.
As for the actual leaderboard, obviously we talked about Brittany took first overall. On the men's side, Sean Sweeney, the CrossFit Cowboy. I mean, I know he did really well in the quarterfinals and would have qualified for semis, but I mean, that's pretty impressive to beat Tim Paulson and a decent number of semifinal athletes that were pretty much in the hunt, right, to qualify for the games. They didn't, but Sanson, Mora, or somebody else. I mean, Muscarello was up there.
Saracen was
chasing. Bill, I think Bill said he was talking to Sean Sweeney, and he was like, because Sean Sweeney's thing now is like, oh yeah, I'm retired. He was like, you don't look retired. You look about the exact same as you did before you retired. So
yeah, I mean,
he's fit, dude.
He's focusing on his family, but dude, I don't know what he's still doing for training, but it's working.
I do think it's much easier to maintain fitness than to get fitter. So once you've reached a certain level of fitness, like, it doesn't take as much to maintain it. Like, maybe you'll not be able to take as much, like, volume wise, like maybe you won't recover as well, but like actually performance and workouts, and like how your lungs and stuff and how bad your muscles fatigue in workouts, I don't think it takes near as much to maintain that. So like Scott Panchik is living proof of that. Sam Dancer is proof of that to an extent. It's not, when athletes retire, they're still crazy fit. It's not like, oh, they just aren't a person anymore. No, they're still the same fit they were. They're just not trying to get fitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any big takeaways from NorCal?
It's cool that we had a competition like this kind of come out of nowhere. I don't know how it felt for you guys, but I feel like I didn't know about this until, and
The
then
week
when I
of?
did know about it,
Yeah.
oh, it's a 25,000 prize in a week. Like it just felt like it came out of nowhere.
Like Dubai's what, 30,000?
I don't know. They go
It's
down. They go lower and lower and lower. They
Yeah, I
go-
think it's 30 this year. It's
So I mean,
it's a
that's
much
right
lower
in line.
prize
I don't
purse.
know. I don't know how Blair and
I mean, they know that they're so well connected in the business world. I mean, they're friends with Khalifa, they're friends with Mark Bell, they're friends with everybody out west, and everybody out west has the money. You know what I mean? There's so many companies out there, and so it'd be easy to find partnerships. Also, they both have good names in the sport.
Yeah, I get it, but it wasn't even broadcast. Like there, like it's pretty wild.
Was there a
They
huge participation base?
I don't think it was crazy. I mean,
It was all invite, right?
on the elite
Well,
side, I mean, they
yeah.
had 31 show up. I mean, they had for the women, and they had different, scaled and novice, intermediate, RX. So they had a bunch of other people pay in, but I mean, that stuff's expensive. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. It is a crazy high prize purse for something that kind of seems like just like a local comp. Probably a little bit more than a local comp, but it's like listening to Chase and Bill today talk about it. It's like the goal of the thing was to be the backyard barbecue thing we used to have years ago and less serious than we currently treat a lot of competitions. It's like everybody wants to have an elite competition now. It's like, maybe just don't.
And I got that feel for it. Like 50 Russian kettlebell swings and then 5 rope climbs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that will murder your grip, but like that's nothing crushing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're gonna be fine in 5 minutes. Like
but they had the adventure race. They had the kayaking.
Kayak.
So I mean,
maybe that's what their deal is that they kind of like pushed it out there, like try to make a big splash so that next year people come out and participate. Because like if I would get to do workouts like that, I would definitely go out there and do it. Would you, John?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if they would invite me though. I'm not good.
Not invite, but like if they have like an RX league or whatever, I would definitely go out there and do that.
I don't know if I'm going to California for that. If I don't think I'm getting paid at the end of it, I don't know.
It's all about the money, John.
In saying that, Wodapalooza has stepped up their price.
Speaking of,
nice. John's learning how to do segues.
Look at that. Look at that.
Good.
There
right?
it is. There it is.
Hey,
so
listen, I personally, it's a bit of a bigger topic, but I think this is a preview to the 2024 CrossFit Games.
Tier?
Like branding.
Should we dig into that?
Tier?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. I was like, what do you mean with that? Yeah.
I really do.
I don't know who else would. Honestly.
Well, that makes our sport sound very redundant, Brian.
Well, no, just from a standpoint of like I think the difficulty every time is the apparel piece of it, right? Like you've got to have somebody that either is just going to shell out a lot of cash to have somebody make apparel for you, or you got to be able to make it yourself. Reebok made it. Noble made it. I mean,
Vindicate.
The Vindicate CrossFit Games.
Travis, like, don't put that on me. I don't want to make that many T-shirts. There's no way. him just crying. Printing as many shirts as he can. I can't get this done.
Born Primitive.
It's called China, Travis. It's called China.
It's a lot of shirts. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like what Tier Wodapalooza is doing. So last year it was 500,000. This year it's 567. So double-digit percentage growth year over year. I think some people are saying, well, the individual elites aren't going up, and second and third get a little bit less. But
does first go up?
No, it stayed the same at 75.
Okay.
But they're putting more money towards the teams, which I think is a bigger focus. I think they're seeing a lot more athletes say they want to go
last year.
They want to do team, enjoy themselves, not crush themselves. Now, if you want to, test yourself as an individual, there's still a lot of money out there to be made. But I think what people aren't talking about with the prize money is the adaptive division. So where they added they now have first, second, and third for the Adaptive RX, which I think is the first in its of any real competition to have that type of prize money for the adaptives.
Now, what constitutes adaptive? Is that all of them, or is it just one thing?
No, I believe it's every division that's the RX division.
Every division is $2,000 for.
Yeah.
But they only have so many select divisions.
Yeah, they don't
There's
have
only so
like
many that. Yeah,
they don't have 8 like it is at the games. I think it's upper, lower, and a
higher
multi.
population.
Upper,
Yeah.
lower than neuromuscular, and that's it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that personally.
I
Yeah.
do too.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
It's such a small, like, if you're going to pull that money, like, let's say that the money they're using for that is pulled solely from first and second in RX, or I mean, in the elite division. It's like, if it's what you're going to do with that money, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're still making a good chunk of change for second and third. You're missing out on $5,000. Like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but this is cool. Like, it's
And
going to people who
Wodapalooza-
really, really care.
And like Wodapalooza's big thing is like community, and like it's
Yeah.
like all the people, right? So like
And-
I have no problem with money being allocated to other divisions. That's what Wodapalooza is. Wodapalooza is meant for everybody. It's a party. It's
Yeah.
not. This is why I don't hold it in as high of a regard as a rogue competition, because it's not just for elite individuals. It's for everybody. It's a big
Mhm.
party. It's a party where we celebrate fitness.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure KCA Cree appreciates it.
Yeah, I think Wodapalooza is one of the first competitions to have the adaptive divisions in like a competition of this size anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. I remember thinking, oh,
So
man.
that's always been a part of what they do. As for the actual competition itself, if you
I'm
watch,
excited. Are you doing
Are-
it?
Me? No.
Oh man, I'm gonna.
I wanna try it, but we're getting ready to go to Pensacola, and I'm not gonna trash
I'm
myself
about
right
to
before we go
rip
to
such
Pensacola.
shreds.
so tomorrow, the workouts are released for the first week. One has already been released, and we'll look at that here in a second. And I think I saw. It must be in one of their stories, but they're going to tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're going to release workout 2 at 10 a.m. Eastern and workout 3 at noon Eastern. The first workout, where was it?
It's 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, front squats with 95, lateral
that's right.
burpees, and then
And
toes to bar. If you finish
Frazier
that,
and
it's a 15-minute AMRAP. If you finish that, then it's 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 135, 95 for women. You finish that, it's 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, a higher weight, and it just keeps on going, 15-minute AMRAP. Front squats, lateral burpees, and toes to bar.
it's in the video with Frazier.
Oh, okay.
The one where you
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, that one scares me.
Why?
It would suck. The whole thing would suck. It's
so
just
much
gonna
fun.
It's gonna be fun, but man, is it gonna suck. I
super
also
excited.
love that it's gonna ag people on into going faster. And it's like, if you're a real pro if you keep the same pace. It's definitely I like the workout. It's simple CrossFit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that it gets heavier is really cool.
I think it's going to get done way faster than people think. And like, it's going to get heavy really fast.
Mhm.
Like, I think it'll be like one of those ones where you have to earn the heavy weight, right? You have to be fit enough to get there. But I don't think that 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 is going to take as long as you think. I think it's going to get over relatively quickly. And then you're at 185 front squats. And I think 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, after all that volume, toe to bars hurt your hip flexors. It's going to be very hard to go unbroken with 185.
Mhm.
And then, maybe higher than that. But
What's after 205 or 225?
I don't know the weights. I just know the workout.
Okay.
It's probably
because that's
like on the
what I want to
Wodapalooza site somewhere, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to know is what the make or break weight is. Like, yeah, it's definitely going to be, if it's 185, it's definitely going to be like, that's going to be a make or break weight. But
Are you able to pause this when it says it?
Yeah.
We got one. Here we go.
Oh, it's a story.
You gotta click on it,
There we go.
and then like
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice. 185, 225. So like one thruster at 225 is going to be
Front squat.
front squat at 225 is going to be a huge separator.
I think a bunch of people could do that. I think the round of 185 is the separator.
You think so?
Yeah, and I do. Like as far as where all the bottleneck is going to happen.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if you're fit, like then I think the 185 will be the separator, and then the 225 will be the separator for the pros.
That was the round that sucked most in the quarterfinals workout. With the front squats at 185, it was 225 and then descended into 185. That 185 round sucked worse than all the others.
Like I think just getting into the 225 will be like your
You're really, yeah.
and then like the best will how far you get into it. Like
Yeah.
how the toes to bar was you're elite if you got to the toes to the bar on the open workout, the very first open workout. You did a full round
Mhm.
and then you got back to the toes to bar. I think that will be getting to the 225 bar.
Yeah. Dude, people are going to take forever to transition the weights. They're going to sit there and they're going to be like breathing.
Do you get to transition your own weights, or can it be separate? Can somebody do it for you?
I don't know.
I don't know if they have. I don't think they have the full description of movement standards. Yeah, available on the 14th. So,
September.
That's a
14th,
sneaky
tomorrow.
thing to get good at.
Changing weights.
It's putting weights on.
Yeah.
So much time is wasted putting weights on because you're like, okay, I'm going to put my weights on immediately, but you're resting, right?
Yeah.
And you just don't go fast. And like, you don't think you're resting like that much, but like it's your body don't want to go fast. It's very sneaky.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're doing it, John?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to make the RX division. Probably won't make it, but I'm going to attempt to make it.
You can always.
Well, it'll backfill though. Yeah.
You can always make the
Probably
intermediate.
won't make it, but I'm going to attempt. I'm going to attempt to. The Wodapalooza is something I'm going to say for like the RX division in Wodapalooza. First off, they don't take very many people. It's fair. This is the only competition that is like this. Like because Rogue doesn't have one, but Wodapalooza's RX division is very
legit.
elite people because like their elite division is all the games guys, right?
Yep.
Like it's all the games guys. Like these are the fittest guys in the world, fittest girls in the world, right? The RX division is all semifinals people or people on the come up. Like the RX division is so good, like it's ridiculous. If you make interesting before he made the games, Guillermo won the RX. Guy Malheiros won the RX or got second or something. In that same competition, Colton Mertens was an RX. Jason Hopper was an RX. Andrew Hiller got 7th in RX. It's the greatest thing he's ever done. Just 7th in RX. But like the RX division is crazy competitive in Wodapalooza. It's the only one where it's like not the elite. It's like the one under the elite division.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, and you always see somebody from the RX. Almost always.
Nick Matthew won the RX, I think, one year. He was in it.
Yeah. If you watch the podium of RX, keep an eye out for those at semifinals or the following year because they generally make that jump up.
Yeah,
So.
if you've never heard the name and they win and like they make the podium or the top 5 in the RX division and you've never heard the name, they are probably going to be very good. Like they're probably going to be at the games next year.
It's a ridiculously
or
hard
that
competition.
Year, right? I'm talking the year Guy made the games, he won the RX division. Like he couldn't make the elite division.
Right.
Like it's the only competition that's like that.
Right.
That's why I say I probably won't make it because all the guys that do, they are semifinals guys, and I'm close but not there yet.
Yep. And so Dylan was on Coffee Pods and Wads this afternoon. Pretty interesting. They're going to add like 400 seats to Flagler, 200 to Bayside, I think he said.
Yeah.
They need it.
Which which is
they're
awesome.
already going to be filled up. It's like they're already gone.
Yeah, and obviously they're doing a different ticketing system. So
Yeah.
anybody that is going to go and buy a ticket, I think once that's announced, like you've got to be on it if you want to get a ticket into the elite. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's going to go very, very, very fast. But
yes.
Yeah, Wodapalooza, one of the more fun competitions to attend and watch. So as for the one that's coming up though, Rogue, we talked about it.
Look at this model-esque picture you got.
Hopper's in, man. Hopper's in.
I'm like, are you posing for GQ up here?
He's getting ready. It's his rap album.
Picture.
It's a rap album.
Yeah. He's probably advertising for rain, is probably my guess. But top 6 all make it in. So we thought he might, but
will they go lower?
Will they go low? I don't think so.
Possibility. You don't think so?
I don't think so. So earlier this week, there were 7 spots left for both men and women, and they had the top 6 still to be announced from the games to go to it. But what they did announce this afternoon was Bethany Flores is going to Rogue. So they did give her an invite.
How responsible do you feel for that?
I don't know if I feel responsible
for you,
for
Bethany.
it. I mean, she definitely was passed over on the initial invites.
Sure.
That is confirmed. But she did just recently receive an invite and she has accepted, which leads me to believe that Tia may have declined. I don't know.
Whatever it is, I hope this pisses Bethany the freak off.
And she goes off and crushes it.
Well, Rogue is probably going to crush her, if we're going to be honest. But
dude, I think they're going to reel it back.
I hope it doesn't.
I could see him reel it back a little bit.
I think they're going to reel it back, which is good for Bethany.
Why do you say that?
I think they were a little heavy-handed last year, and I think that's why they're losing so many people this year. Is that people are like, dude, I don't want to do that to myself again.
Are they losing people?
Yeah.
Who are they losing?
I mean, they took all the 6 of the qualifiers, and then we still have way more that aren't confirmed, right, Spin?
We still have 5 men left, and I think 6 women.
They just haven't announced those people. But who in the top 15 men and women are they losing? Justin's not doing it for obvious reasons because he got a puppy dog.
And Sam Quant's wife is due around that time.
Sam Quant's having a baby.
That's
right?
it.
Tia just had a baby. Who are they losing? They're not losing anybody, man.
Yeah, all the women have accepted so far, except for Emma Tall. Emma declined because of an injury, but I think everybody else has accepted down to that list. So who was in 5th place? Was it
Alexa
at the games? Oh, yeah. at Rogue?
At the game. No, at the games.
It was Rhapsody.
Dallin. Oh, girls.
On the women's side. Alexis was 6th, right? Or am I thinking it wrong?
Alex.
So I'm pretty sure she's going. So Bethany would be that last and final one if the top 6 women all accept. Or top 5 now. So it'll be interesting to see because last year, man, Rogue beat everybody up. And so if they don't go as crazy, like I think Bethany could do better than a top 15.
At Rogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
I'd be interested if it's not Tia. It'd be funny if the last person was like Mal or somebody. Mal or Haley, just some comeback. You know what I mean?
There's no way.
People be pumped.
I'm just trying to think outside the box. Like if you save somebody for last,
yeah,
right? Like I mean, Tia is the obvious person, right? They're the last person you announce. You build up this crazy hype. But if it's not Tia, I think just as much hype would be there if it was Mal, because everybody's like, would Mal have one? You know, Mal was the second coming of Lady Jesus. You know what I mean? And so, like, for her to go,
is there a first coming? Who's the first coming of Lady Jesus?
I guess there's no.
I just want to be consistent here.
Poorly worded phrase, yeah. But the like Mal versus Laura and Emma, like I think there would be just as much. Like Tia's hype for she's the fittest woman ever, right? But I mean, I would be more excited if it was Mal, just because of the battle that would ensue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty badass of her to do that. Come out of like hiding and just like, no, here I am, and then win it. That would be the greatest story of all time.
Win.
You wouldn't?
No, I think if there's strict deficit handstand push-ups, then Laura doesn't win. But I still don't think it's Mal. I honestly, Alex Gazan has a fair shot because they always do something funky. She's good at the funky stuff. They always have a hard ring muscle up workout. As long as it's not snatch, I think Alex Gazan has got a fair shot. I think Emma's got a fair shot, but Emma didn't do as good at Rogue as she did at the games. And I think it will always be like that. There are people that just do better at the game. Danielle Brandon's one of these people. Danielle Brandon will probably never do good at Rogue. By good, I mean like win it or like top 3 in the running, right? But she always does good at the games. Chandler Smith's the opposite. I know he did great at the games, but Chandler Smith always does great at Rogue, right? So like there's people that just float towards one competition. I think Emma will be one of those people that just doesn't do as good at Rogue. Maybe she proves me wrong and she wins it. But if Laura would win it unless there's strict deficit handstand push-ups. And if there is, I think it's anybody's game. It's hard for me to say Mal when she hasn't. All we know that Mal has done has changed her hair and got a boyfriend. That's all we know.
Speaking of which, Jackie wants to fight. If Mal goes and they show her fake redneck boyfriend, I'm going to fight.
He's a fake redneck?
I don't know.
What's the difference between a fake redneck and a real redneck?
A fake redneck. Is it
come on, Jackie.
A pink neck? Like, does he not work out in the fields?
He only has a truck, but he's not. He doesn't work. That's the difference, I guess. He's got a big truck, but he doesn't work. He's Midwestern, not really from the South.
Am I a redneck? Then?
Yes, you're from Missouri.
I count as redneck.
Yeah, the whole state's rednecks.
Missouri.
Yeah,
I'm not against it. I don't know what it is.
I just want to know who I am.
Yeah, I'm figuring myself out. I just recently found out I wasn't gay thanks to Barry. So like, we're just trying to figure out what I am right now.
Who is John Young?
Before we move on, Chris Giles, 192 watching, only 1 like, so go hit the like button.
Like was Brian Spin.
Franco, yeah, exactly. So 192 of you have not liked it yet. Franco Dubac, who is programming Rogue. So
Dan and Josh.
I thought it was. Yeah, I think it's Josh and either Dan or Spieler. And
I think
Bill and Katie.
It seems weird because then don't Josh and Dan feud.
Yeah, it might be Spieler again. I don't know. I know Josh was involved for sure.
Yeah.
I thought he had mentioned that Dan's name was in it, but I don't know.
Me either. I'm mixing that up with it's like text thread rumors or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I'm doing Josh Bridges programming now. So
really,
yeah.
Are you going to be a SEAL?
I'm just doing the power hour, which I don't know how you fit it into an hour, but I'm doing that program.
That's the power part.
Yeah, it's like you just got to crush through it. There's no way if you actually warm up and take some time after a Metcon to, move on to the next thing. But it's good programming. I like it. A little bit different.
I like his style. I like his style of programming. I always have.
Yeah, I mean, I have all the equipment, all the machines, and so he kind of cycles through that stuff, which is pretty cool.
Brian, my mom wants you to know that she is the one like. So
sweet. Thank you, Mrs. Young. Thank you.
Tell you that.
I appreciate it. Hopefully we get somebody else, but thank you.
Your likes no good here.
We need more likes. All right. Games pop. So we had our first games athlete to pop and test positive for GW 50156.
Jeffrey Adler. I'm just playing.
Yeah. This Carolina Gutierrez, Masters athlete in the 45 to 49 division. She was third place, hit the podium from Brazil. She apparently was on some HRT to deal with early menopause or something like that, and
Decided to slip some other stuff in there too.
in her video, she says that it was, doesn't know how it got there. Obviously, we've had a lot of issues with Brazil because like she was doing vitamins and they're all being compounded at this pharmacy or at a pharmacy. So I don't know. I feel like that stuff is not as unheard of as here, or it's a lot more accessible.
It being Brazil, I give her a little more of a pass.
Yeah,
like I'm willing to hear
drugs.
Yeah,
they just don't know that that's what they think.
Right. And so like she said she jumped off of that just to be safe in April or something like that.
The HRT?
No, the vitamins, right? Because she was worried about cross contamination, but she was still taking
her HRT.
These other drugs or whatever. So I guess first of all, I guess my question is, and some Masters athletes reached out to me, like they felt like the testing for Masters athletes isn't robust enough.
You think they said that because of Pinheiro?
No, it was more of that.
But she didn't pop, right?
Well, we don't know yet. She did not.
I mean,
because she was at semifinals.
On stuff.
I'm not saying she's not. I am saying that there's only one time where the Masters athletes are tested unless somebody gives them an anonymous tip, right? It's only at the games. It's only probably for the podium. I don't know if they do 4th or 5th. But should they be doing anything for those who qualified for the games before they get there?
It's not robust enough for the age division. It's like if you get tested at the games, I think it's robust enough to me. And I don't even care if it's just a P test.
I think they should test everybody at the games, though.
How many? But that's 10 per division.
Yep.
It's a lot of divisions.
I don't care. I don't care. I think if you make the amount of testosterone that is like not just testosterone, but the amount of drugs that is through the Masters division, because that's where half of the pop drugs or most of the pop people come from is Masters divisions. Like, I mean, there's so many guys at my gym that are just on testosterone or HRT or on peptides, like older
it's common
guys.
now.
Like everybody's on that stuff. So like if you sign up for a competition that says you can't do this and you are, I don't care how expensive it is. I think we should just test everybody that makes the games.
To me, I'm going
individual. Like I wish we could. So individuals, too many people. I wish we could though.
I'd rather take all the money that we would spend on any other division and just test everybody in individual. I don't care. I honestly,
just let all the Masters people do all the drugs they want.
Juice it up anyway. Like do you know how much you can mask if you're on TRT? You can mask a ton of stuff.
That's the hard part, right? Like you could take it to get to the
tip top
limiter, right? Even though it's not your natural state, and it's tough to detect.
I'm not against that. I'm not against just
pulling it out.
Yeah, well, if it means we test every person that makes the games as individual, which is just 40 guys and 40 girls, right?
Yeah.
So like if it meant that, I'm not against not testing the Masters people. But you don't tell me that you're all natural and like the Masters winner, like I don't think if you win, you should promote and I'm all natural, right? Like just win. You know what I mean? Like we can tell. If Pinheiro wins, I'm never going to think that you're not on stuff because you are. Quit lying, right? If Grubbs wins for the 18th time in a row, I believe he's not on stuff. He looks like a regular guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's just jacked.
And he promotes his like you see what he does all the time. Like I don't know. I'm for that if it meant we could test all the individuals. I don't know. That's a hard one because basically you're like, hey, if you're 35, take all the drugs you want to take. You know what I mean? But
Well,
35.
I guess if you want to, go have at it. But like it should be like we should understand that you are like you're not natural. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't
I
think
don't
anybody
want
would
you to
care.
say that you are.
yeah,
It would piss
right.
me off if somebody's like, I'm promoting that I'm all natural. It's like Mike O'Hearn. Mike O'Hearn pisses me off. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
Right? Like Mike O'Hearn is like 18-time all natty bodybuilding champ.
That's
right?
why they call him
Yeah.
Mike O'Trend.
We all know that he's on all the drugs in the world. He just cycles off when he goes to come. We all know that, but he promotes it like he's not, right? And like that's what pisses me off. I would rather it just not be talked about. Like I'm cool with doing that, but then like let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about, this person won the game.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. So on Tuesday, Savon
I have
had
so many mixed feelings about this.
Glassman
Go ahead.
on.
What is this?
And so, and there's also possibly reason to believe that that they are in significant numbers engaged in supplementation that probably also isn't well suited to the organism other than in short-term efforts. I've not tried to draw. I've been careful in the lessons I've drawn from the games athletes.
What do you make of that?
I think he needs to talk a little faster. God, that was hard to listen to.
I mean, is do you think that's what he was inferring? Was that
Yeah, you wouldn't say supplementation. You wouldn't do that if you weren't
trying to figure out the
insinuating.
right word of what that is, right?
Yeah.
My opinion on it, as far as like the elites on stuff, this is part of the reason why I want to make it. I know I'll never be the fittest guy in the world, but if I could, in 3 years, make the CrossFit Games, and I know I didn't do anything, then I know there can be Matt Frasers in the world that are just, that's how good they are. You know what I mean? Because obviously there's going to be people genetically better than me, right? I think Matt Fraser was tested 3 times a month. He's talked about how much he was tested. Like 3 times a month, blood and urine. They just show up at his door. And they stay with him until he does it. Like on the off season, like the amount of times that he got tested, I believe that Matt Fraser was clean and that he truly is that good. And if he can be that good, then everybody else can be as good as they are. Like, you know what I mean? It's not impossible for somebody to be that. I believe Rich Froning was clean. Rich Froning's looked the same way since he was 2010. In 2010, when we didn't even know what steroids were. We didn't even know what CrossFit was. Everybody just went as hard as they could till he couldn't go anymore. He couldn't even climb a rope. I know he wasn't on steroids then because he could be on rope climbing steroids. And he's looked the same the whole time. He's gotten a little ripper, but nothing's been ever significant. I'm sure Hiller would agree with me. Hiller sucks Rich off every chance he gets, right? And so like if those two guys are, never been on stuff, then I believe everybody else can be. And the way they say it, they say the top of the top are relatively clean. Most people, it's everybody that's trying to get in. It's all the people that are just, at semifinals levels, or like where Taylor's at. You know what I mean? Like where Taylor's at, or where I'm at to an extent, upper, lower extreme of that. Like a lot of those guys are on stuff. And I believe that wholeheartedly because they're trying to get to the mountain. But the guys that are on the mountain, I don't think are on stuff. Same with the women. And that's how I think about the steroid thing. What Glassman's saying, he don't know. He hated the games. He don't know about the games. He hated the games. That's how I feel about it.
I don't love that he said it. Even if it's true, I think that's something you need to handle off. I don't know. You're the wrong person to say that, I think. I'm not telling you what to say. You do you. I mean, it gets us talk. it gets us talking. And then the other thing that I think about is that it's interesting to watch Savon dance around that.
Mhm.
Like, because I to me watching it, I was like, I think Savon's nervous right now. And you make Savon
what's-
nervous,
True.
like you've done something. I mean,
Yeah,
you,
like what's he gonna say, or what does that imply, right?
right.
uh,
I don't know.
I
how
want to
handle this.
believe what John said, right? Like that's. I do think that Matt and Rich are probably clean, right? Like I don't see them doing it, but what below them, who knows, right? Like it's tough. And I don't know what measures you put in place to be able to do that better.
You do have to test everybody for, but the thing is, like those two, it was like they almost were trying to catch him. Like
Right.
they're so good, like they can't be that good, right? So they're trying to catch them, and
Well, think about it this way. Greg would have known everyone they tested and how
you think he
rigorous
would have
those
cared?
those
was
tests
not
were.
he
Yeah, but
was
why
not
would you say it
invested
if
in
you
the
didn't
game.
care? Why would you say it if you didn't care?
I think Greg just says anything that he thinks, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'm with it. Greg is this creative genius that created CrossFit. I think Greg doesn't know if he's right or wrong. He just says it like it's fact. I mean, I kind of do the same thing. Anything that goes in his head, I think he just is right, and he just says it unabashedly. Like you know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about him. Whether he's right, I don't think he knows anything. He just says it. Like
Yeah, like I don't see Vellner taking him. I don't see Fikowski taking. Like, there's some guys that I just
and
don't
my
see.
point is, if they
like
can
Ariel,
get to the
I don't
level
see.
they are,
Yeah, I don't see any
then
reason why
everybody
Ariel would.
below them can get to the level they are because they're ahead of those people. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Right. Yeah, if you can be that at the top and not take it, then
What we've never revisited is what Ricky said when he got caught. There's guys that I know that I've trained with that are top of the games.
Yeah,
That
but Ricky,
did he say that? Did he say that in a bad way? Did he say that because he was mad and he wanted to put it off, or did he really mean it? To me, I want to believe the same thing. I want to believe that Rich is the best of all time and that he was totally clean. I want to believe that Fraser's Fraser best of all time,
Just go
totally
ahead.
clean. Same with Tia. But there's always been the thought in the back of my head, like it could all be bogus. But that's me being, that's me hedging bets always. So
And
yeah.
I also think if you truly believe that, like that everybody's on stuff, like you can't do that without being on stuff. They're all on it, right? Like how some people,
my
right?
best friend Brad, he used to say, if you're stronger than me, you're on steroids.
Well, I think that like if you truly believe that, like then you're weak-minded. Like go get better. Like you just think that because it's impossible for you. Like everybody can go do these things. Like you just don't want to work hard enough. Like, and I'm like, I believe that to my core. That's the only reason why I think people can train hard enough to get or long enough to get to the games no matter what. And then there's just going to be people genetically better than people. Of course, people are on stuff. Like there are people who are going to cheat. I'm not saying nobody cheats. But if you think everybody's on stuff, I think you're just making excuses why you're not better, or like you're you know what I mean? Like you think it's impossible because you could never see somebody doing that. Maybe they're just better than you. Like that's.
I mean, are you gonna listen the next time Greg's on Savon's show? Were you listening? Were you listening to that one?
I don't listen to many of these things, man. I just am on them sometimes.
But would you
I don't have
be
the
more
time that you guys have.
Would you be more interested in the spin? Were you listening when Greg was on?
No, not live. No.
Will you next time?
I try to, but I don't always have time. But like
that's my point is I'm gonna be a little more tuned in now that Greg's on because I want to see what else he's gonna say.
You think Ricky's on stuff now?
I don't think it'll come back up again. But
no, but that's the point. It doesn't
But
matter.
I mean, fair. That's fair.
And
I
think
You
maybe
talking Brian or me?
It doesn't matter. Like that, more people want to listen to what when Glassman's on.
Yeah, people love
What is-
negativity.
What does he want to? What is he
He
going to say
might-
next?
he
Could
might
drop
talk about
something? Maybe not.
steroids, and then, well, all of a sudden now you're listening to stuff about broken science, which is what he actually wants. I don't know if it's that malicious, but it's not even malicious. I don't know if it's that well planned out, but that's a real convenient way to do it. And to me, there's nothing substantial about what he said. There's nothing backing besides the fact that he was the CEO of the company and created the company. Besides that, there's nothing there. So I want to see, like, follow the money kind of thing, follow the views.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I feel like Hiller has done more research on the steroid thing than anybody, right? Has looked into everybody. And I think he would say the same thing that I'm saying.
Definitely about Rich.
Definitely about Rich. but I think he would about Matt too.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
He would have
And
already done it.
even with
before.
Tia, he's already said he just did that for views. And he had no proof at all. He just, you know what I mean? He's done stuff on Justin. He's just not I think Hiller would be honest about his thoughts. And I would talk to Hill. I would listen to Hiller about steroids, about who's on steroids, about if he thinks I'm right, if he thinks Tyler's right, if he thinks everybody's on stuff, whatever. I would listen to his opinion on this way more than Greg Glassman.
I heard he thinks you're on steroids.
Well, come test me then, man.
Yeah.
I'm all, hey, come on, bring it on. You
It's
can come
that
to my house at any time of the day.
It's that JY
All right.
Barbell Club.
Draw blood.
All right, guys. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Hiller's going to go visit John in Houston and
Do it.
get a little
We'll
drug
lift off
tested.
right after you draw
and,
my blood. And when I snatch more than you, I'll be like, you just should get stronger. It's not hard.
Good deal. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks everybody watching. Go hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, Tyler?
Go to Heat One. Go to Heat One app, download it, and get the news. You guys, we spend so much time. we look for all the news everywhere, all these stories. You could have kept up and be able to argue with us in the comments. If you go to Heat One app, we have a news section now where you post all spin stuff. Anything that you need to know about is going to be posted there. So
that's a good point. Thanks for the reminder, everybody. Until next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.